Lucian Winthrop's living room was tense as his assistant wheeled him in. His wife followed closely behind. The police officers rose to their feet at the sight of Lucian and his wife, having waited for nearly 15 minutes.
Do we have some good news now?
Inspector Tate, standing rigidly, faced Lucian with a somber expression.
We're sorry, sir. There's no news of him yet. His second bodyguard passed away an hour ago without providing any useful information. Our search team is working tirelessly in those communities. We'll inform you as soon as we have any information about Damien.
The officers turned to leave. Lucian trembled in his wheelchair, tears welling up but not falling. Damien was his only son, his heir, the one who would oversee his empire. Now, Lucian couldn't imagine life without him, especially given his own terminal illness that confined him to a wheelchair and left him with only 6 months to live.
You should stop worrying yourself, honey. I'm sure he will come back home to us very soon. Nothing will happen to him.
Her eyes betrayed her own fear as she squeezed his palm softly. Just then, one of the female stewards entered the room.
Ma'am, you've got a call from an unsaved number.
Lillian's eyes met her husband's as she took the phone. They shared the same desperate hope. It might be a kidnapper demanding ransom.
Damien!
Her scream caught everyone's attention. Lucian motioned for her to put the call on speaker.
Where are you, Damien? Hope you aren't hurt.
I'm okay, Mom. I got help from a family here. You should come and get me right away.
2 hours later, Damien sat on an old sofa in the living room of a modest house. Emily, his host, had offered him something to eat several times, but he politely declined.
Won't you like to take something before your parents arrive to get you?
No thanks, ma'am. You've done a lot already.
He surveyed the room, noting the old furniture and outdated TV. It felt more like a storage room for ancient items than a proper living room.
What about Jane?
She left for work before you got up this morning.
Damien found it odd. She seemed too young to be working.
Jane had to drop out of college after her first year. I got sick and couldn't work, so she took a job as a store attendant. She's been supporting me and saving up to return to school.
Damien felt pity for Emily and Jane, understanding now why Emily moved slowly. It must be due to her illness. He suddenly felt a strong urge to help them.
I'd like to repay you for your kindness, ma'am. I can help Jane get back to school and ensure you get the treatment you need.
Can you really do that, Mr. Damien?
Yeah, I can.
Just then, sounds from outside caught their attention. Emily peered through the window, eyes widening at the sight of 6 vehicles, including 2 police vans and 4 expensive cars.
They're here for me.
For you?
Damien nodded. The policemen and security agents exited their vehicles. Emily followed Damien to the door. He stepped out, greeted by Mia and his mother.
Thank goodness. You are safe.
Mia's hug caused Damien to wince in pain.
Easy, Mia. I've got a wound there.
He hugged his teary mother.
Oh, my Damien. Thank God you're safe. I was so scared something bad had happened to you.
I'm fine, Mum.
Damien, what happened to you? You look like an old man in these clothes.
Mrs. Emily here gave them to me.
Oh, thank you, Mrs. Emily.
Mia glanced at Emily and then at the house.
Is this where you've been, Damien? How can a human being live inside this house? It looks old and tattered.
That's enough, Mia.
We're hoping to get some money to repair it soon. It's the old house my father built several years ago.
We need to get out of this environment quickly, Damien. It looks so dirty. I'm scared someone might attack us again.
Mia was Damien's girlfriend, friends since childhood, and recently, lovers.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Emily. Is there anything you want us to do to repay you?
Thank you, ma'am, but we need no repayment. We just wanted to save a dying man.
If that's the case, we'll get Damien back to the city now.
Take care, Mrs. Emily. I'll be in touch with you.
As they left, Mia scoffed at Damien's clothes again.
We must get home quickly, Damien. You need to take off these rags.
Emily overheard but wasn't bothered. She recognized the arrogance of the rich. The police officers approached Emily with more questions.
If you don't mind, we'd like to ask you a few questions, ma'am. How did you find him?
My daughter found him unconscious by the roadside. She called me and I helped her bring him here.
Did you know he was Damien Winthrop?
Damien Winthrop?
Emily's eyes widened in surprise as she realized the magnitude of their guest's identity. The heir to the Lucelle group of companies, saved and housed by them. As the cars left, the police officer continued.
We have more questions to ask you, ma'am. We'd like your daughter to be present.
Before leaving, the police asked them to be around as he had more questions for them. The needle of suspicion was looming on everyone, even on those who seemed to be his saviors. Emily was still grasping everything that was unfolding, unbeknownst to the perils and rewards that are in store. Emily nodded, her mind racing with the implications of their unexpected guest. What would come next for her and Jane? The answers were still shrouded in uncertainty, as the story of Damien Winthrop's disappearance unraveled. Stay tuned for the next chapter of this gripping saga, where secrets unfold and destinies intertwine.
Thank you for this day I live in. Constant learnings to keep me thriving. For challenges that